All right, greetings everybody. This is Verona again from Ancestral Voices. I was here yesterday with an interview, and now I'm back today with Dhyani Kane. Those who have watched our first documentary, Ancestral Voices, Esoteric African Knowledge, may recognize her. So, Dhyani, welcome. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Thanks for inviting me. I'm really well, thank you.
Good, good. I mean, it's an honor to have you back, and I mean, a lot of the audience, if they haven't already seen the first film, may not be aware of your journey and everything you've been into. But obviously, the last time we saw you, you were speaking on your experience with a boga. And obviously, that was now over 11 years ago. So I really look forward to speaking with you about
Right.
your spiritual journey and everything you've done. Every time, no exaggeration, people watching out there, every time I speak to Dhyani, she's in another part of the world, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. So, Dhyani, if you can tell us where you're coming in from today.
Today I'm in Turkey. I'm living in the mountains. And also, the greatest thing is I'm living in the mountains, but I'm also on the beach.
Beautiful. I mean, the scenery just looks, look at that. The scenery is
I
phenomenal.
know I'm living now.
All right. So, Dhyani, it's funny because obviously I met you first now in 2010. But I don't know your full spiritual journey. So if you can start with that for us, I'm very intrigued to know.
Well, I was thinking about this, and I would say that when I was 7 years old, I started my spiritual journey because I said to my mum, I want to go to find God, so I want to go to church. And my grandma had a church and my uncles. And so, yeah, I first went to church to, try and find some spirituality or some meaning or some truth at 7. I stayed
Wow.
in church till I was 11. And then I changed churches. And yeah, and then I went to a few other churches. I would say I stayed in churches till I was about 13.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and then I kind of moved away from the church from then.
And then what made you move away from the church and then what did you move into?
Well, I never found, I never felt that I found God there, and I was looking for some kind of truth and God. And even though everyone was telling me to do this, Bible studies, and I was part of the church, and yeah, I felt good for that moment, but really it was only because I was following everyone. I was thinking, I don't feel what they feel, so why am I not feeling God the way they're feeling God in this church? So I tried
Mm.
a few other churches, and I went to Girl Guides. I did all kinds of stuff in the church, but yeah, so I left because I just felt that I never found God through
And then, so once you realized that the church wasn't giving you what you needed spiritually, where did you move on to?
well, for a while, I don't think I was following a spiritual journey. I learned to dance and, and then I kind of, yeah, I would say that no, I was dancing a lot and I studied dance. So I felt
Okay.
really good doing that. That was like, my expression, of me expressing myself. And then after that, I stopped dancing, slowly stopped dancing. I felt a bit like, you know, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
And I had quite a few spiritual, enlightening moments. Like I always seem to know when someone in my family or someone close to me passed over the other side, died, as you say. But
Hmm.
yeah, and I just thought I want to look into that more. And that's how I started the spiritual journey of trying to look into why do I see things or feel things or know things, because it didn't seem to be normal with anyone else around me.
So were you always highly intuitive or that did that develop from the dance practice?
No, I was way intuitive. I was more intuitive as a child. And then
I
I
see.
realized because like I used to tell people things or my family and they was like, don't do that, you know.
Mm,
So I started blocking it. And then I
mm.
just felt quite different to a lot of people. I always felt different. And I, never met anyone really on a level that I could speak to in that way about my spiritual, experiences because it was like a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
in a negative way, but I wasn't. I was just saying, guess what? I think grandfather just died 5 minutes ago, and they're like, what? What kind of thing is that to say?
Yeah.
I felt, and it was true.
Wow. Amazing. So at what point was it then that you actually started to acknowledge that, okay, I do have this kind of gift? Was there a point when you thought, actually, this is who I am and I accept it? And if so, what got you to that stage?
Well, I went to Pune. I went to Pune to the Osho Center in India, and
Okay.
yeah, because yeah, I wasn't confident enough to know, yeah, I've got this gift or anything like that. So yeah, I went to Pune and I did like I read a lot of his books for about 3 years, and I saw that he was a great scientist. And he said that if you do the dynamic meditation for 21 days, it will change your life. And I really liked what I read. His books were very simple. There was nothing intellectual about his books, even though he was very intellectual himself. And he was a scientist, a spiritual man. He was a guru. And for me, I just went into the scientific side because I was just trying to find ways to raise my vibration and enlighten myself. At that time, I was like, I want enlightenment. This is what we're here for. We're
Yeah.
here to learn our lessons. So if we're here to learn our lessons, I want to learn my lessons and become enlightened. That.
Oh man, family, what is going on? This is the second day now we're getting internet connection problems. So, for those of you that were joined yesterday when we had Dr. Lualuka on the show, he also experienced a blackout from the Congo. So, that destroyed our internet connection for a bit. Dhyani is currently in Turkey, so hopefully we can resume the call. So, shout out to everybody listening. There's a lot of people watching. Thank you for all the people contributing your messages. And Dhyani's back. Welcome back, Dhyani. You're right there. What happened there? Was that this the internet go out?
No, the internet was still on. I don't know what happened. Sorry.
No worries. So carry on. Yeah, Mercury retrograde. Thank you, Ocean. It's so true. But anyway, carry on. You were telling us about your dynamic meditation with Osho.
Yeah, and then so I did the 21 days of the dynamic meditation, and and then while at the end of that, I was sitting in, like, they used to do this white robe in the evenings meditation, and when I was sitting there, I just disappeared. It's like because obviously when your ego and your personality is gone, you have no recollection, you're gone. So I didn't even know it happened. I just remember, like, coming out of this space, I was running around, and then it's like I was running because I went and sat on a cushion. And when I sat on that cushion, I closed my eyes because everyone was looking at me and I felt really shy.
Wow.
And then I woke up in midair, like screaming, running around, like this next level energy that I never felt before.
Yeah.
And I mean, they call it samadhi or whatever they want to. There's so many labels to it, but it's like I can't even talk about it. It's so beyond. And I couldn't believe that. Wow. And so I wasn't there, So I had to ask everybody what happened. Like, I was sitting on the cushion, and then I woke up in midair, and everyone
Wow.
was like, you levitated, and then you was running around screaming, and then obviously the energy, everyone was screaming then and going crazy, and I was dancing, and I have no recollection of it.
Wow.
After that, I couldn't sleep. I was so high on energy, and some friends were having a party outside for me being in India, and I was just looking at, they said to me, oh my God, you're such an amazing dancer. Last night, you was just looking at the stars all night, but I just felt so connected to everything. And it was like, when I went silent, I could hear this like heartbeat. And I was thinking, what is that? And then I realized it's like the universe, and this peace and the love that you feel. It's just like, so, I had that taste very early, which meant you can't go any other way. You will
Yeah.
always follow that now because you want that again, and if that's where meditation can take you, then it's like, no, I've got to continue this.
Wow, that is phenomenal. So it's almost like an out of body experience then. It was just like you were just released from this physical vessel into something much greater.
But the thing was, like, when I woke up, like, this guy had his arms around me, yeah, and his face was close to my face like this. And I could see some friends on the right, and I was like, help, help. You know, like, why is this guy, you know? And years later, when I was working with, because I'm going to move into this, when I was working with ayahuasca, I saw that my third eye was blocked. Okay. I knew it was blocked anyway, but I was quite happy not to see for a while. So, you know, I just thought, oh, maybe now it's like this. So, you know, because there's always different developments. And I thought, okay, maybe it's like this now, because it was a relief in a way. But then when I took this work, you know, it was me and my two friends, and we were shamans anyway. So we all did our own doses. And I said, okay, I said it to myself, I'm going to work and see why I can't see through my third eye anymore. And then straight away, I saw that someone in India had blocked it.
Wow.
And then the session, so I cleared it. And then after the session, I was trying to think, like, but I didn't go to any Indian healers or anything. So who could have done that to me? And then later on, when I got home at like 6 a.m., the guy that was hugging me when I finished the meditation, when I was like, you know, really ecstatic, it was him. He came into my kitchen in London, and he was like, I can't see. And I was like, what's he doing here? And then I realized that he was the one that put black magic on me and blocked my third eye. And he worked for the 21 that ran Pune, part of the Osho Center. And they'd obviously, if anyone has that kind of experience, because I met all these old ladies there that had been around there for 50 years, and they were saying, we've never seen this happen, only when Osho was in the body. Because I think Osho left the body around 91, and it was in 2000 when I was there. So it was like 10 years later or 9 years later. So obviously, you know, they put the black magic on me. And so this guy comes in my house and he's like, I can't see. And the rules are with black magic that if you lift it off you, it goes straight back to where it come from. You know, so I just told him, get out my kitchen. I'm really sorry. I didn't send it back to you, because I wouldn't do that to someone. It's called karma, you know.
So what was the reason for that then? Is it because they could see your potential and then didn't like it? Was what it was?
Yes,
wow.
Maybe they thought I was going to take over the center or something, you know, and be the new Osho. But obviously, you know, I don't know what would have happened, because it's beyond me, you know, it's something beyond.
So this was revealed to you, you said, during an ayahuasca session. It was
revealed to me like 4 or 5 years after that, or maybe 3 years after that. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. And so, because you've also done Iboga, so which one happened first? Because you've obviously had quite a bit of an experience with plant medicine.
They said I was really blessed, because I started with the Iboga, because they say, because, you know, like with the Iboga, it grounds you, it's the root, you know. So everybody I met, what happened was they were working with ayahuasca first, and they were all having out of body. They were just all out their body, because obviously it's the vine. So you're just gone, you know, and everyone's like all spaced out because no one's grounded. So I started with the root. And then they say, so you can ground yourself and then you can fly, you know. Everyone was saying, wow, you're so blessed that, you know, the Iboga came to me first, you know.
And what was your experience like in Gabon, for those who haven't seen our part 1 film?
Well, Gabon was next level. When I did the last film, I didn't actually know that what had happened to me is that they'd also put black magic on me in Gabon, you know, because I think I was the second group to go there to Gabon ever out of foreigners, you know, and the first group was the women that I was actually working with, that I was with, you know. But that's what I'm saying, you know, I thought that was my family, you know, and you're all sort of growing as spiritual sisters and brothers together. And we all went to Gabon. We was taken, as I said, with Christine, and and obviously she discussed it with the tribe leader, that they were going to put some blockage on me. But so when I did the last documentary, at that time I didn't know that that's what had happened to me. I didn't know that I had that on me, and it was maybe a few months after that. Then I found out that it was like a really, really bad black magic they put on me. And most people would have died within a couple of weeks, within a month, because they was trying to take me out. Obviously, they were trying to do that because, you know, I never saw myself, but they obviously saw something in me, you know, and They were trying to block me. So so I had that for 13 years, that black magic.
Wow.
So after Gabon, so now I'm going to be a part of the crew. I used to run the ceremonies anyway, but I never used to sit on the bench, you know, where and I wasn't allowed to give iboga or anything like that, which I didn't mind. But I was looking after all the people that were doing the cure, and I was looking after all the people that came with them. So I used to like look after 300-400 people alone at the weekend while everybody went to sleep, or everyone used to come to me and tell me what their issues were. And then I used to report it to the team, the tribe, you know, okay, this is going on with that one, that's going on with that one. Yeah, so it was very powerful ceremonies, and yeah, I was a big part of that.
Wow.
So when I came back, I was so happy. Now I'm part of the crew. I'm going to be on the bench. You know, I suppose it's still an ego story, really, that you're going to be on the bench. You know, and now, but no, I just thought I'm going to be more powerful. I'm going to be able to do more work and help more people, because that's always been my story. You know, to help as many people as possible. And so when I came back from Gabon and I went into the first ceremony, I just thought, I remember Zingo, who was the head of the tribe in Gabon, he said, Dhyani, you can take that plant anytime you want. So I just thought, you know what, something came to me and said, you've got to take the plant now, just as the ceremony was starting. So I just walked away from where I was sitting, took the iboga and laid down. And then it's like Spirit said to me, you need to leave now. And I was fighting 1 hour, like, no way, I've just gone to Gabon, I've spent all this money, you know, I've been in all these ceremonies, paying for the ceremonies. Now the team said to me they were going to pay me like £5,000 a month to, you know, be a part of the team and with this healing and doing ceremonies of ayahuasca and iboga. So I'd worked hard to get to this point, and finally I was going to get paid. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get paid. So, but Spirit was like, no, your time's up now, it's finished. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, like you always think that your journey's going on a certain direction, and now you're going to be the shaman, and then you're going to do this and that. And then that was it. So after an hour, I got up and I left, you know. I left the ceremony, and we was in Wales somewhere. And everyone was like, you know, what's going on? Because I just got dressed. I had all my tribal clothes on, put my normal clothes, and I said, I'll see you guys later. And they said, what's going on? 1 minute, sorry.
No worries.
Oh, all right.
Guys, if you have any comments as well, keep dropping them in the chat. Go ahead. Was that a cat I could hear?
Yeah, it's a kitten, and she hurt her foot.
Oh.
Got to a kitten.
Cool. So go ahead.
Yeah, so where was I?
You left the ceremony and you're like, I can't stay here.
Yeah, and then you know, that took me on another journey, because then I found out that, you know, I had the black magic, and then I realized that, you know, some of that team were actually conspiring and they actually set me up. But yeah, so then I went on another journey, like, I've got to find a cure now. So I traveled to many places in the world, even though I was told that I had to clear it myself. I just thought, oh, if I go to this particular healer in Brazil, he's not going to know that, you know. So I went around the world to all these amazing, powerful healers trying to find a cure, you know. And every time I got there, they were like, you have to do this yourself. You've got to do this yourself, you know. But so then I just thought, what am I going to do now? Like, if I've got to do it myself, and it wasn't coming to me how to do it, how I'm going to clear it. So then I had to put my mind, you know, mind over matter, to say, actually, I still feel really strong. You know, and my friends were coming to me for healing, and they were still seeing, like, when I used to touch people, they used to see a lot of light for days, some weeks, you know. And they're telling me, but I don't know what's wrong with you, Dhyani, because we're still, like, we're seeing so much light after you touch us. So I was thinking, wow, maybe I'm not as weak as I think I am, or I'm not going to let this, because it was also on my crown. Mm-hmm. The part of the black magic was on my crown, and they say that disconnects you from everything, God and everything. But I still felt connected, you know. So I still felt strong. So I just think to myself, I must be so strong, really powerful, because no matter what they did, you know, I still felt strong, you know, and I still, you know. So I just think I went into all these places of working, trying to raise my vibration with light workers. And I don't know, there was a lot of jealousy around always, and they always ended up trying to harm me. So it's a strange way, because Yeah, it's a bit strange.
No, thank you for sharing us that with us, because this is what we're finding a lot these days, is that people are obviously finding spiritual solutions or people to help. And as we know, there's a lot of people out there with bad mind and jealousy or just straight up charlatans. So it really is hard to know what to do. And this is why I always encourage people seek that wisdom within themselves first for trying to go outside, because it can be dangerous out there. But as you were talking, all I could think of was the Wizard of Oz and Dorothy
Exactly.
going through this whole journey. But it's like in the end, it was down to you. It's like no place like home. The wisdom was within you. So how do you feel now? Do you feel like you've got to a state in your journey where you're confident without having to see other people? Where would you say you are now?
Yeah, I'm really confident without seeing other people. It did take me a little time because, as I said, it was only 2 years ago that I cleared the black magic, you know? So, therefore, what I had to do was I had to start tuning into myself and really removing all doubt and build my confidence up again,
Mm,
because that was a big one, the confidence,
yeah.
um, especially after going through a journey like that. Because, but now, I'm back. And I'm really standing in my power now. And I would say 95% I'm already in my power. So I'm actually in the middle. I'm not in the middle. I'm at the end of a transition of mastering, the physical, So now it's like, wow. So now I'm doing all kinds of healing, like people ask me, oh, can you clear ancestral curses? And I thought, let me try. Boom, it happened. So now, as I said, I've taken away all doubt. So now I feel that there's nothing that I cannot work on. There's nothing that I cannot heal in other people. So I'm just shining my light, on anyone that needs it or anyone that asks for help, basically, because I'm here to serve. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being this or being that. I'm just here serving. I'm just doing, we're all here to serve, but most people don't know it. I know I'm here to serve. So,
Beautiful.
and I feel like I'm really in an amazing place. I have a lot of energy now, and I feel really peace because I had so many things happen to me on this journey, but they're clear now. I've healed them, So I just feel like every day I could just walk around with my arms like this, like yes, thank you, thank you. It's like finally. So many people have been off grid for 5 years. At some point, I was just running around, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to give as much as I can so that I could get the help to lift off this black magic. And I thought, you know what? And I was fully serving. I was like living like a gypsy, driving from country to country, going to churches, temples, and just doing blessings everywhere because everywhere was so dark at that time. It was really dense on the planet, really, really dense. So I was shown and guided that on the 21st of December, 2021 or 2020, is all this light's going to be shining. But first we need all these places cleared. So I was just running around fully serving, giving my whole self. Nobody knew what I was doing and everybody thought I was crazy. And even I thought I was crazy. But you have to be crazy to do some of the work that I've done. And I'm just happy that I was crazy.
No, that's brilliant. So you were mentioning at the end, because there's a lot of talk around that time about the significance of the 21st of December 2020. Where do you think we are now, like spiritually on the earth and the vibration? What would you say we're experiencing now then?
We've got more light on this we've got more light on the planet than ever. We've been waiting for this for thousands and thousands of years, so it's here now. And then we have the solstice on the 21st of June. So
Yeah.
that's going to bring, we all need to be ready for that. So if you're focusing on, the big V and all these Babylon people, then obviously, you're going to enhance that more in your life. If you're just focusing on the light or, goodness, the positivity, and bringing that inside instead of running around talking a good game. Everybody speaks, like, as you can see, I'm not speaking all these spiritual words. I speak from my heart, but everyone I go and I'm thinking, wow, everybody's awake now, and everybody's speaking this. And then when I really look at it, I think, you know what? Everyone's just talking the language, everyone's talking the language. And I'm here to like elevate and help people raise their vibration. So